Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something really cool. We're transforming ancient peasant foods into high-tech clinical outcomes. We're diving into what we call biblical bowls. And trust me, as a nutritional science nerd, the biochemistry hiding in these ancient simple meals, it's gonna absolutely blow your mind. Let's get right into it.
There's a massive contrast in how we understand human health today versus back in antiquity. Right now, we rely heavily on modern randomized controlled trials, mass spectrometers, all that high-tech gear to tell us what we should be putting on our plates. But the ancients, they didn't have any of that. Instead, they relied on centuries of unbroken biological feedback from their own bodies to figure out what actually worked. They just watched what healed them, what fueled their intense physical labor, and what kept them strong over generations. And honestly, modern nutritional science is really just now catching up to what they already knew.
So here's our roadmap for today's deep dive. We'll start with cardiovascular and brain health, then move into optimizing the gut microbiome. After that, immunity and cellular repair, and we'll wrap it up with the ultimate nutritional matrix. Let's jump right in.
Starting off with Part 1, cardiovascular and brain health.
The absolute crucial secret here is a little thing called oleocanthal. It's this brilliant polyphenol found in real extra virgin olive oil. When ancient fishermen and farmers were pouring generous amounts of olive oil all over their daily barley bread, they weren't just adding flavor or calories. They were actually delivering a massive daily dose of oleocanthal. This is a hugely potent anti-inflammatory compound that functions almost identically to ibuprofen. But the kicker? It does this without any of the gastric side effects or kidney strain. It was literally daily, systemic cardiovascular medicine.
We see this exact same protective power in a super simple meal of charcoal grilled fish. Think tilapia or sardines, eaten right there on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. These fish are just packed with essential omega-3 fatty acids, which, remember, our bodies absolutely cannot manufacture on their own. The DHA is literally building the membranes of your brain cells, while the EPA is actively reducing inflammation in your cardiovascular tissue. And check out the preparation here, charcoal grilling. There's no heavy batter, no inflammatory seed oil frying, just direct heat that perfectly preserves the nutritional integrity of the fish. I mean, we are looking at one of the most brain-protective meals a human being could possibly eat.
Now, moving to a slightly less famous but highly effective ingredient, let's talk about nazenin. This is an anthoxidant that's concentrated right in the skin of an eggplant. It acts as one of the plant world's absolute most potent free radical scavengers. It specifically targets and protects the lipids in your brain cell membranes from oxidative damage, which, believe it or not, makes eggplant a highly significant brain food. But you know the real magic here? It's all in how they prepared it.
To unlock that brain-protecting nazenin and basically turn it into functional medicine, the ancients developed what we now know as baba ganoush. First, you roast the whole eggplant in a fire until it's nicely charred. Then, you mash it up with raw, freshly crushed garlic. And that raw aspect, super key for retaining its medicinal potency. Finally, you pour over generous amounts of olive oil. Now, why the oil? Because nazenin is fat-soluble. By adding that olive oil, the ancients were perfectly unlocking and delivering these powerful brain protectors directly into their biological systems. Just brilliant.
All right, moving on to Part 2, optimizing the gut microbiome.
There's a massive paradigm shift in how we need to view dairy proteins here. Think about ancient goat's milk. It's primarily made up of highly tolerated A2 casein protein, and it has these smaller fat globules that make it incredibly easy for the human gut to digest. Compare that to most modern commercial cow's milk, which is packed with A1 casein. Studies show that A1 often produces an inflammatory response right in our gut lining. So the ancients, they were thriving on a fundamentally different, genuinely healing form of dairy.
And it gets better. When you take that A2 goat's milk and ferment it into yogurt, you get what I like to call the Promised Land protocol. You're basically breeding massive amounts of beneficial lactobacilli and bifidobacterium. These living strains literally train your immune system and produce short-chain fatty acids that just squash intestinal inflammation. Then, they'd stir in raw, unfiltered honey. And we're not talking about the heated syrup from a plastic bear here. We mean real honey containing active enzymes and the defensin-1 protein. When you mix all this together, you're creating what was essentially a complete clinical-grade gut health protocol, all in a single bowl.
Then we have barley. Now this wasn't just some basic peasant grain, it was an absolute metabolic powerhouse. The biochemistry going on here is fascinating. Barley contains the highest concentration of beta-glucan of any grain on Earth. Beta-glucan is this amazing soluble fiber that literally forms a gel inside your digestive tract. It slows down glucose absorption, aggressively feeds your good gut bacteria, and it reduces LDL cholesterol so effectively that the FDA actually allows food manufacturers to slap a heart health claim on it today. Crazy, right? We see this exact same intuitive brilliance with chickpeas, another huge ancient staple. They're totally packed with resistant starch. This is a type of starch that actually bypasses early digestion, so it can specifically feed the protective bacteria deep down in your colon. The result? Greatly reduced systemic inflammation and improved insulin sensitivity with virtually zero blood sugar spike. In fact, consistent legume consumption, just like this, actually predicts healthy aging and longevity across populations all over the world.
Okay, let's jump into part 3, immunity and cellular repair.
The secret weapon when it comes to immunity is allicin. This is a broad-spectrum antimicrobial compound that fights off bacteria, viruses, and fungi. But here is the really fascinating biochemical catch. Allicin doesn't actually exist in a whole garlic clove, not at all. It's only created the exact moment the cell walls of the garlic are physically crushed or chopped. So, by generously crushing raw garlic directly into their lentil stews right before eating, the ancients were quite literally synthesizing a powerful antiviral and antibacterial agent right there on the spot. Now, consider the medicinal chemistry of a traditional lamb stew. This was so much more than just comfort food. The lamb provides massive doses of vitamin B12 and highly bioavailable zinc, way more bioavailable than what you get from plant sources, which is absolutely critical for immune function. It also delivers heme iron, which our bodies absorb at 3 times the rate of plant-based iron. And when you slow cook that lamb with onions, you're actively extracting quercetin, which is a powerful polyphenol that provides anti-inflammatory and antihistamine properties. It was basically highly bioavailable medicine, just cleverly disguised as dinner.
And this biological brilliance wasn't just limited to eating. For instance, when the biblical prophet Isaiah ordered a poultice of figs for a severe skin ulcer, he was unknowingly prescribing physin. Physin is a proteolytic enzyme. When you apply it to a wound, it literally breaks down the dead tissue and completely halts bacterial growth. It's an incredibly effective way to promote rapid wound healing.
This kind of biochemical power brilliantly illustrates why pomegranates were so highly revered that they were literally carved into ancient sacred architecture. Pomegranates contain this very unique compound called punicalagin. When it hits your gut, punicalagin breaks down into urolithins, which have these profound anti-inflammatory and cellular repair effects. The polyphenol concentration here offers immense cardiovascular protection. We're talking about lowering oxidized LDL cholesterol even better than red wine or green tea. Honestly, even a simple, everyday plate of fresh grapes and goat cheese is doing some heavy biological lifting. The grapes deliver resveratrol, quercetin, and anthocyanins. These specific polyphenols actually activate sirtuins, which are proteins directly associated with cellular repair and extending our lifespan. When you combine that synergistically with the live beneficial bacteria found in the goat cheese, you're getting an incredibly powerful cellular repair protocol right there on your casual afternoon snack plate.
Finally, let's wrap up with part 4, the ultimate nutritional matrix.
The number 7. Described way back in the book of Deuteronomy, there are exactly 7 specific foods that were promised to the ancient Israelites. Well, modern nutritional biochemistry has recently realized that these 7 specific foods make up one of the most complete, perfectly balanced nutritional matrices ever assembled by humanity. Seriously, let's look at the chemistry here. Just look at how these ingredients perfectly complement one another. You've got the wheat and barley providing that slow-burning beta-glucan and those complementary proteins. Then, the grapes and pomegranates slide right in with resveratrol and punicalagin to activate cellular repair. The figs and dates step in as glycemic buffers, filling in any mineral gaps with magnesium and pectin. And then, the whole olives just wrap the whole thing together, using their monounsaturated fats to instantly deliver all those fat-soluble vitamins deep into the body's tissues.
Every single ingredient in this matrix supplies exactly what the others lack. The grains and fruits fill each other's amino acid gaps to create complete, robust proteins. The olive fat makes all those nutrients highly bioavailable. The immense fiber from the dates completely prevents any blood sugar spikes from their natural sugars. All of these multiple anti-inflammatory compounds work together synergistically. It forms a biochemically optimized meal that requires absolutely zero modern laboratory equipment to execute perfectly.
I think this idea really captures the essence of it all. The ancient world didn't need to understand the exact molecular structure of pomegranates to build temples around the pomegranate. They didn't have the scientific vocabulary of modern biochemistry that we rely on today, but they paid deep, generational attention to what sustained them and what kept them living remarkably well. They just watched it work. And you know what? They were absolutely right.
So the big question I want to leave you with today is this. Are modern dietary discoveries really just rediscovering what our ancestors already proved centuries ago? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As modern nutritional science keeps arriving at these exact same ancient conclusions, what other historical wisdom is sitting right there in your pantry just waiting to be rediscovered? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep feeding your curiosity, and I'll catch you on the next one.